Hi guys, welcome back to Cocoa Budgets. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can create your own sinking funds so that you can save smarter, not harder. If that's something you'll be interested in, then please stick around. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Okay, let's go. First of all, Happy New Year. I hope you had a lovely New Year. I hope you had a lovely holiday. I wanted to come to you guys today with a video focusing on sinking funds. So sinking funds are a way to save money for upcoming expenses, long-term goals and short-term goals. Sinking funds can also be very useful in reducing financial stress, reducing financial burdens, especially for those of us that perhaps come from low income backgrounds or that historically struggle when it comes to dealing with our finances. For example, Christmas. Christmas is a very popular sinking funds category to have because Christmas is usually a time of year where we spend quite a lot of money, from presents, food, decorations, gifts, or those of you that travel costs as well. So having a sinking fund for Christmas is a way to reduce the financial burden that can come with saving for Christmas. How it works is you would determine how much money you need for Christmas and the deadline for this particular amount of money. So for me, for example, I like to always achieve my sinking funds a month before they're actually due. So if Christmas is in December, I would like to have all the money I need come November, or maybe even earlier, depending on how I'm going to manage the present side of things. But at least at the latest by November, I'd want to have all the money I need. So if today is January 1st and I'd want my Christmas money by November 25th, that's 11 months away. Once I've got my amount of money, once I've got my goal amount of money and my time frame, then I know how much money I need to be putting aside every month or every week in order to reach that goal by that particular deadline. Then, through the use of your cash envelopes or cash wallets or spreadsheets or apps, you track how much money you're saving so that you do achieve your goal by your set deadline. Now, sinking funds categories can be very broad. You can have your annual subscriptions, so any subscriptions you pay for annually, they can become a sinking fund that you cash stuff for. Anything that you know is a regular expense, so perhaps if you're somebody that maybe even wears glasses, or you visit the dentist quite often and you know that that's an expense that you're not always prepared for, having a sinking funds for those categories can help also. Okay, so how do you determine your sinking funds categories? Now for me, how I do mine is I kind of put things into two categories: fixed amount and then non-fixed amount. For some other people, they might call them essential or non-essential, high priority, low priority, vice versa. But for me, I kind of go based upon fixed amount and non-fixed amount. So my fixed amount categories would be usually my annual subscriptions or holidays. For example, Christmas. If you've seen any of my other videos, or I think 2 videos prior to this one, I showed you that I have this here. So this is a savings challenge. And this savings challenge is basically for winter break / Christmas, and it will give me a total of 2,100 dirhams. Now, I created this because I know that 2,100 dirhams is roughly how much I spend when it comes to Christmas. I'm a single female, and usually if I'm not traveling home for Christmas, then I have it here with friends. So my expenses are quite low. Okay, so fixed amount would be like Christmas, or it could be your annual subscription. So perhaps if you pay for Amazon Prime on a yearly basis, or if you pay for Zoom on an annual basis, anything like that that you pay for yearly, that would be considered a fixed amount. Then you have your non-fixed amount. So that could be, if we look through my sinking funds binder, just some categories. For example, health. Now, when it comes to something like health, unless you're somebody that gets regular prescriptions, or you visit the hospital, or you have health issues that require you to spend a particular amount of money every month, health would be something where there's no fixed amount. However, what you can do for categories like this is set aside a certain amount of money each month and continue to stuff in your cash wallet until you get to either a particular number or a particular time. For me, I go based upon a particular number. So for health, for example, I would aim to try and make sure I have at least 500 dirhams. Once I reach the 500 dirhams, whether it takes me a year or less, then I would kind of stop cash stuffing that for the time being and focus on other high priority or other areas of my financial life that require more attention. Hopefully you're following along. Other categories can be car maintenance. For those of us that drive, you know that car maintenance can always come out as a bit of a shocker. So again, because there's not really a fixed amount, because you just don't know how much you're going to need to spend, what you could do is think of a number that would be realistic for you to achieve based upon what type of car you drive, and then just aim to save each month or each week until you reach that particular number. Now, once you've reached that number that you come up with, you can decide if you want to continue cash stuffing that amount, or if you want to just leave it there. For me, I usually leave it there and focus on other areas that require more attention. So car maintenance could be another category, household, miscellaneous. I know some other cash stuffers here on YouTube, they call it like maybe life happens. I think Beautifully Me and You calls it life happens, or some other people call it other names. But this could just be unplanned expenses that perhaps come up and need your attention. So again, thinking of a certain amount of money you want to put towards this category and then saving each month until you reach that particular amount. Beauty. Birthdays and gifts is another one as well. Now, with birthdays and gifts, it's quite interesting. If you normally purchase gifts for certain family members or friends every year, then you kind of have a rough idea as to how much you usually spend. So you can easily perhaps think of a certain amount of money that you want to save and allocate towards birthdays and gifts, and then decide on your goal date. So maybe you want to just do it over the course of the year. Or perhaps most of the birthdays that you normally buy gifts for is in like the first half of the year, or I'm not sure, but you think of how much money you want to save and by which date, and then you just save a certain amount each month or each week. And travel's another big one as well. So travel, if you know that you've got a holiday coming up, for example, or you're planning perhaps a particular trip away, then just putting aside a certain amount of money every month until you get the money you need. Now, I'm going to show you an example of my one here. So I started doing this one, and for those that saw my previous video, you would have seen this one here. I'm going to zoom in a little, not too much. I think I zoom in too much in my previous video, so I'm going to just go to there. Okay, now I started doing this one, but I'm going to be honest, I am going to more than likely do another one, but I'm going to just kind of use this as my example template for today. Now, I got this from The Budget Mum. She's got some amazing resources, free resources on her website. So if you just Google The Budget Mum, it should come up. And this is the Sinking Funds Savings Tracker. Now, what you've got here is your goal amount, due date, months to save, already saved, amount left to save, amount to save per month. So I lifted out some, and then as you do, I kind of revisited my finances at the end of last year, and I decided that there are actually some additional goals or different goals that I want to kind of put into my sinking funds, which I'll come to in a later video. But as an example, you've got, for me, Amazon Prime is something I pay for annually. My amount is 140 dirhams, and I pay for that on the 3rd of October every year. So between now and the 3rd of October, that is 9 months, not 10, because I want to have the money saved and secure before, a whole month before the bill is due. That's just me. You don't have to do it that way. You can literally go right up until the day before if you want to. But for me, I like to know I've got the money a month before. So I know I've got to save 140 dirham in 9 months. Now, if you do 140 divided by 9, that equals 15 dirhams. So if I put aside 15 dirhams every month from my salary, from my paycheck or my side hustles, for 9 months, I will have my Amazon Prime annual subscription fee ready to go by September 3rd. Another one would be Zoom. So because I do online tuition, I need Zoom. So I pay 620 dirhams roughly. Now, roughly because of the conversions, which I'll get to in a minute, but 620 dirhams is what I pay annually. 14th of, now I've left a gap here. I need to double check. I think it's November. I think it's the 14th of November. So if we go with the 14th of November, that's 10 months away, not 11, because I want to have the money a whole month before that bill is due. Now, if I do 620 divided by 10, that's 62 dirhams every month I need to save. Now, when you break it down into when you break your goal amount down into how much to save per month, it actually sounds a lot more manageable. If I didn't use sinking funds to manage my finances, then when the 14th of November comes around and I have a 620 dirham bill to pay, that could be something that's potentially stressful for me or causes financial stress because perhaps maybe I've not got the money or there's other things that are a bit of a priority for me to pay for. Whereas if I'm just saving 62 dirhams a month, then that eases that financial burden a bit more. Okay, so these would be like my fixed amounts. Now, when it comes to your non-fixed amounts, so those would be some of like the categories I showed you before. For example, let's say health. For those ones, like I said, you'd really need to sit and think about how much money you want to have put away for your potential health concerns. So for me, I would say, because I have health insurance here where I work with my company, I would say 500 dirhams is fine for me. Now, due date. There's no specific due date for this one. I just want to know that I'm putting aside money every month until I reach this goal. So if I use my calculator here, I'm just here. So if I use my calculator here, let's say if I decide I want to have 500 dirhams by the middle of the year, not by December, by the middle of the year. So that would be 6 months away. 500 divided by 6 equals 83. Let's round that up to 84. So roughly 84 dirhams. So I'm going to say here, due date is by the 1st of the 6th, 25. So that would be how many months to save, including this one, it would be 6 months. This one is not one where I'd want to stop the month before. I would literally just keep going up until that particular date. So that's a whole 6 months to save. I have nothing saved so far. So I still have to save that full 500. I'm just following the template here. So amount to save, we're going to round it up to 84 dirhams every month. Now, what happens when I get to the 1st of the 6th and I have my 500 dirhams saved? Well, that depends on you. You get to decide. You can either decide that you're going to continue stuffing your 83 dirhams and increase this amount because maybe this is like your minimum, your bare minimum amount, or you can decide to leave it there. It really just depends. For me, I usually analyze my finances at that particular time. And if I feel like there's other areas, maybe extra debt payments, or maybe there's a new sinking funds categories, then I just leave it there. But ultimately, you could keep going and build that even further. And that's pretty much what you would do for all of your other non-fixed amount categories. Okay? Right. Now, when it comes to you receiving your paycheck, ideally what you would do is you would go through your paycheck, what you should be doing if you're on your budgeting journey or if you're just starting out. You go through your paycheck, you look at all of your expenses, all of your expenses, all of your bills, debt payments, anything like that. And you also include your sinking funds, okay? Treat these as something that is very important because like we said, it does alleviate your financial burdens later on down the year, okay? So other ways you can save for your sinking funds categories is through the use of savings challenges. Now, savings challenges are basically just different ways to save, fun ways to save. You could literally, for me, for example, let's say like with this one, the one I showed you for Christmas, I could literally just take out a large sum of money every month and put that into a wallet that's called Christmas. But there's no fun in that. So when it comes to savings challenges are really just a fun way to save. I could just take out 100 dirhams a few times a month and put it into an envelope labeled Christmas. However, doing savings challenges makes it a bit more fun, a bit more engaging, and you're more likely to stick to your savings so that you can actually complete your savings challenge. So if you can get hold of some savings challenges, you can find lots of printable ones on Etsy, or you can find some free ones as well, or you can even make your own ones using platforms like Canva. You can make yourself some saving challenges to help you save towards those sinking funds. Again, it's just a fun way to save. So this one, for example, is specific. It's tailored to Christmas. However, my saving for a rainy day scratch off challenge, which is this one that I made. This one here, I initially said that I wanted to go in towards my emergency fund. So I want to build my emergency fund to at least a minimum of 5,000 dirhams. And this is what this will go towards. So once I've completed the scratch off challenge, I will reallocate the money into my into my emergency fund. If I make any more of these, then it can go to other categories. But again, the saving challenges or the scratch off cards like this are just fun ways to save. Make saving a whole lot more interesting. So definitely look into that as well if you want to get serious about your sinking funds. Also, I've got a birthday one here, which I think I've shown in previous videos. Knowing that I'm going to want to have a certain amount of money for my birthday, instead of just doing regular cash stuffing for my sinking funds for my birthday, I can use this savings challenge here to make it a bit more fun and a bit more exciting when it comes to saving money. So we've discussed what sinking funds are, how to get started, and how to make it more fun and engaging. I definitely do recommend using free resources like this savings tracker here, which, like I said, you can find on the Budget Mum. Getting yourself organized with things like budget binders or cash envelopes or anything that you think is going to help you stick to and be consistent and disciplined when it comes to saving for your sinking funds. Anything that you think would be useful, definitely get those things and really just get started with it. The sooner you start saving for your sinking funds, the better. When it's last minute, it can become more of a burden and you're less likely to stick to it if you have lots of short-term goals because you didn't organize yourself early on. If you have any questions for me or if there's anything that you're not sure of, please feel free to reach out to me. And feel free to also comment down below. What are your sinking funds categories for 2025? I'm always adding new categories into my binders because I just find that sometimes things pop up, or sometimes there's categories that I haven't even thought of that I kind of see through other channels or other budgeting people as well. So definitely comment down below and let me know what your categories are. And thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.